Daniel Dubois is proving that outside of Oleksandr Usyk, nobody at heavyweight in boxing can deal with him. Most heavyweights would have let losses like Usyk break them. Daniel Dubois responded by tearing through the heavyweight division and leaving a trail of bodies behind him. Fabio Wardley represents the next wave of heavyweight boxing. Young, undefeated, explosive, and fighting in front of his hometown crowd, similar to Dubois. Early on, it looked like a breakout moment was inevitable, but then Daniel Dubois reminded everyone that it takes more than simply hitting hard to beat him. Fabio Wardley's problem wasn't power. It wasn't toughness either. His problem was simple. He wasn't a good enough boxer. At the elite level of heavyweight fighting, power alone stops being enough. Eventually, you run into fighters who can survive your best shots and still outclass you technically. And that's the bigger realization coming out of this fight. Heavyweight boxing is searching for its next generation, but Fabio Wardley showed that he isn't ready to be the one to lead it. Maybe that fighter is Moses Itauma, maybe it's someone else entirely, but right now, outside of Oleksandr Usyk, Daniel Dubois still looks to be the division's biggest problem. And I know, I get it. Daniel Dubois was younger than Fabio Wardley, and it doesn't seem to matter because boxing doesn't want Daniel Dubois. They constantly underrate him. They constantly put him, against the harder fighters, the up-and-comers. And Daniel Dubois, being the great he is, accepts the fight every single time. He goes out there and he fights the Wardleys. He fights Anthony Joshua. He fights the Oleksandr Usyks. He fights the toughest of Filip Hrgovic. He fights all of those guys. And what it boils down to is it doesn't matter who the system says should be next. Daniel Dubois is the now. He is the second best boxer at heavyweight right now. I'd put him above Joshua. Maybe Agent Caballel, maybe him. But you look, he beat Hrgovic, Jarrell Miller, he's beaten really good names, and then he just put a young buck, Fabio Wardley, the next generation, on his list of bodies. Now, we do got to address some things, though. We got to talk about the flash knockdown. The first round, Daniel Dubois saw the canvas, and then in the third round, he saw it too. And I get there's questions and concerns there, but he was knocked down in the Joshua fight. Obviously, he's not indestructible. And at heavyweight, almost nobody is indestructible, with the seeming exception of Usyk and maybe Tyson Fury. But everybody hits hard at this level. Deontay Wilder, something special. Fabio Wardley has really, really good power. But everybody hits hard. Everybody can be knocked out. We saw Usyk almost knock out Tyson Fury. Usyk almost went down with Daniel Dubois. Dirty Daniel Dubois hit him low. Regardless, the flash knockdown doesn't concern me. I thought Wardley gave a good account of himself. The two knockdowns were great. When he throws in combination, it's wonderful. But the problem is, I hate using this analogy, but you'll kind of get it. He sees red. He's just throwing big old haymakers over the top, just big looping punches. And Daniel Dubois is able to come over to the top of those, get on the inside, and clinch up on those looping punches. He has a good eye for the sport. But when Wardley's throwing the uppercuts in there, 1, 2, changing the rhythm of his striking and stuff, it's fantastic. The problem is he got into a firefight, and when he gets into a firefight, he lets it go. He lets the hard work he's done in the gym, preparation, he lets all of that go. And it sucks, because Fabio Wardley's an interesting boxer, and much like Daniel Dubois lost to Joe Joyce earlier in his career, I believe Fabio Wardley can come back from this. But even fighting the younger guy, the Daniel Dubois, who's been around the block, you can see the experience showing. You can see the fact that he fought Joe Joyce and Anthony Joshua. You can see that he's been put on the floor by Anthony Joshua. We can see all of these things in his fights. But it's the lazy work that got him in trouble in this fight. The lazy jab from Fabio Wardley to let Daniel Dubois come over the top over and over again. Constantly. Fabio Wardley's just throwing out naked jabs with nothing of stank behind it. And when he did, Dubois respected it. But Dubois knows he's not coming with it most times. I can survive. I've survived Anthony Joshua. Why couldn't I survive Fabio Wardley? That over all night, over the lead jab, of Fabio Wardley, really did end Fabio Wardley. Now, of course, we've got to take some time and talk about, they call him Dynamite Daniel Dubois. No, we call him Dirty Daniel Dubois here because Daniel Dubois is one of the dirtiest fighters you never knew about. The Usyk fight, everybody, oh, low blow, not low blow, whatever. The Philip Hrgovic fight, go watch that. Watch how dirty it was. Multiple low blows in that fight. Usyk, the second fight, made sure, hey, we're not going to be dirty here. He's, pulling down, literally grabbing the other side of his glove on the underhook side and pulling down Fabio Wardley. He's rubbing his elbow and his forearm across his face. And I get, you got to do what you got to do. Daniel Dubois has to make the fight happen on his own terms. But I just don't get behind the dirt. And I get why he does it. And I kind of, I'm coming around on it. But, man, I do wish he would drop the dirty act. Because it's no fun. It's not. And it kind of takes the what's good from his fights. It takes away from that because he does a lot of really, really good things. He's tough. He likes to bite down on his mouthpiece a lot. He's an entertaining boxer. But we got to get past the dirty stuff, the throwing your arm in across his face and, scraping him, cutting Fabio Wardley. But once again, though, we saw the toughness of Daniel Dubois is unmatched. Maybe outside of Usyk and Fury. Daniel Dubois is a tough fighter. I remember one time Tyson Fury was talking trash to Usyk. Go ahead and fight Daniel Dubois for $1 million or $2 million or whatever when I'm the money fighting. He's not wrong there, but man, Usyk went and fought Daniel Dubois, and guess what? It turned out to be a really good win that is aging fantastically on his resume. We saw him get, in a war of attrition with Usyk, and he didn't get out of it either time. He lost that fight, but with Anthony Joshua, we saw it with Philip Hrgovic. He lost the Joe Joyce fights fair and square, sure. But he goes in there and he fights tough fighters. Jarrell Miller, he is a tough fighter. And you can't sit there and say Daniel Dubois is not. So if you're getting into a war of attrition and a toughness, be prepared to get dropped by Daniel Dubois. Because he's going to do that. And there are certain fighters that are coming up that I do want to see him against. And Fabio Wardley is a tough fight for anybody at the division. You got Richard Torres coming up. You've got all these guys that are coming up. But Daniel Dubois, at his age, how old is he? 28, 29? He is young. Yeah, he is 28 years old. People think he's older than he is because he's been fighting in this sport for a while at a very high level. But, you've got the legacy fights like Deontay Wilder, who's coming off of his fun fight against Derek Chisora. I get Deontay Wilder's not the name you want on your resume these days, but in 5 years it is. Oh, wow. Daniel Dubois beat Deontay Wilder after he beat Fabio Wardley, the future champion? Deontay Wilder's not a bad fight for him. And if he's looking for a fight that's big but a tune-up, Wilder is that fight. I don't know if he wins. Daniel Dubois does get hit, but he also hits heavy. And he could probably knock out Deontay Wilder, another tough boxer who, he gets in his head sometimes. But Ajit Caballel is the boogeyman, the body-hitting boogeyman. That's the fight that I don't think he will take. I think he has a problem with somebody hitting his body. We saw it with Usyk. And Caballel probably beats him. Caballel might beat Usyk at this point, But Moses Itauma is the one everybody wants. I think that's a fun fight, too. Itauma, I rate higher than Wardley. If you go back on the channel, you can see I've rated him higher than Wardley for a while now. The dude's fast. He's got really good hands, and he has, again, those good combinations. BoxRec has him ranked, let's see. Where is... So Wardley's down at 7. Daniel Dubois. Wow, they got Itauma way down here. What is wrong with them? Moses Itauma at 13? Yeah, no, that's garbage. Run back to Anthony Joshua fight, but Joshua and Tyson are fighting, so you can't count on that one necessarily. But the Itauma fight, Ituma's looking for a way in, and Daniel Dubois is in a weird spot where he's not fighting Usyk ever again, so they'll have to book around that. And with a title, they're not going to book Usyk versus the title. Usyk's not even going to try, but they will make sure that Daniel Dubois gets the good wins. He'll probably end up fighting the Richard Torreses and, the Honeys and all that coming up here soon, trying to fight their way in. He's going to beat most of them. Anyways, guys, what did you think about the fight? Comment, sound off below. Here, I've got my playlist. This is the show. We talk about fights every week, and for the big ones, we do previews. You missed the Inoue Nakatani preview where I nailed it. I don't want to, toot my horn, but toot. And yeah, we'll be doing more stuff in the future, so check it out.